What's going on? I'm so excited to be here today. This is Julian, and for the past 3 months I've been doing nothing but eating grass-fed ground beef. Why did I start? I started it just because I said, hey, a lot of people have been talking about it and this seems to make a lot of sense, right? Back in the days, what were people eating, right? Especially like the Native Americans. They would hunt, the bison or whatever the case may be. And I just thought that it was an interesting concept, the quote-unquote carnivore diet, as they call it. And I'm not one to really hop on trends, but this just seemed to make sense to me. And I've always been somebody who ate really high quality proteins, but I'd always have it with a side of spinach or a side of kale or broccoli or whatever the case may be, because I thought that's what you're supposed to do, right? You need fiber, and if you don't have fiber, that meat's gonna get stuck in your colon and you're gonna die, right? So that's what I've always believed. But I said, you know what, let me step back and actually try it out. Let me see if it works for me. It works for other animals in the animal kingdom, but I'm not a lion, right? I'm not a hyena. I don't have that hydrochloric acid to break down all those foods like they can. But I believe humans are meant to eat meat. So I said, you know what, the heck with it, I'm gonna go for it. So lately I've been having nothing but grass-fed ground beef, and on a typical day, I'll have about anywhere from 3 to 4 pounds of ground beef. And I can do that either in one sitting. I'll have about roughly 2 pounds of ground beef, and then I'll wait, and then I'll have maybe a pound and a half or 2 pounds, depending on how I feel. And I know that sounds like it's a lot of food, but it is a lot of food. Who am I kidding? Yes, it's a lot of food, but there is nothing else on the side, right? I'm not having a side of potatoes or a lot of broccoli on the side or rice, right? There's just nothing on the side, no side, all strictly protein. And I'm sure some of you are really curious about, hey, how do you make it? What do you put into it? So I use coconut oil. Get any unrefined, virgin, organic coconut oil. That's what I use. And I season it with some Himalayan pink sea salt, right? That's all it is. Pure Himalayan salt. Pink salt, whatever you want to call it. Don't get too crazy. A lot of good minerals in this. And then here's my key. If you take away anything from this video, it's going to be this right here. I use some organic cinnamon, and I actually put cinnamon on the ground beef. Once it's finished cooking, I just sprinkle it on it, and it helps with the blood sugar level, so it doesn't really spike your insulin too much. And again, there's no carbs in this, so you're good with that, and you don't really get that crash going. And right now we are just going to unwrap a package of ground beef, and we're gonna start cooking it. All right, so it's been about 2 minutes. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take it, and since it is a whole lot, we're just gonna flip it, use our hands. Do not be afraid to use your hands. And that's what it's gonna look like. And you're gonna leave it on this side for another 2 minutes. And once that happens, then we're gonna start to break it up with the spatula into smaller pieces, so like that it cooks evenly. And with ground beef, you wanna make sure that you break it up, like almost that you're gonna put it into a taco, because there's a lot of bacteria in ground beef since it's shredded, right? With steaks, you can cook it like this and leave it medium rare inside. And again, guys, you can do whatever I just said guys, I hate using that. Listen, you can do whatever you want to do. It's your ground beef, it's your body. But what I like to do, I don't like to leave anything pink in the inside unless it's a steak. Make sure to use high heat and just keep chopping at it, and then from there it's going to be done really quickly. And what I do, since that is 85% lean, there's a lot of fat that drips out, and what I do is I drain the fat. I try to keep a little bit just so it's still flavorful and you still taste the juices, but I drain most of the fat. Remember, I'm having 2 to 4 pounds of ground beef a day. Then I do want to make sure that my fat intake isn't through the roof, because that's about 300 to 400 grams of fat a day. So I do drain the fat. You can do whatever you want, but that's just what I do. It helps me feel a bit better. All right, now this right here is a non-negotiable. You want to make sure before you eat that you have some apple cider vinegar. So I always take a big shot of apple cider vinegar. It's gonna help you a whole lot. Do it. I I just finished eating and it took me about 27 minutes to finish 2 pounds of the ground beef. So remember, what I did is I drank some apple cider vinegar. I took a big shot at least 10 to 15 minutes before my meal because that's gonna help with digestion. It just really helps create an acidic stomach. So once you do eat that much meat, it's able to break down properly, and it also helps break down the proteins that are within the ground beef. So you just always want to make sure to do everything that you can to just make it easier on yourself. And one of the things that I do is that I never eat while I'm angry. I never eat while I'm in a rush. I never eat if I'm not in a good mood. I know that all sounds funny, but I'd rather go hungry than to eat angry, because when you're angry or short just to cut to the chase, if you're not in a relaxed state, right? If you're not calm and not just to cut to the chase, if you're not relaxed while you eat, you're not going to digest it properly, because you're either going to be in fight or flight mode, right? And you want to be in a calm, relaxed, peaceful state of mind. So remember that when you eat, that's going to help with digestion. So now I'm sure you're curious, how has it been? What's it like to eat ground beef every day, 2 to 4 pounds and nothing else? It feels really amazing. I like it. It's so simple. There's no complexity to it. You just do one thing and you just go all out. You know what you're gonna eat every day, and I really enjoy it. And you don't get any of those big crashes like you do when you're eating something that's a bit more carb infused. But after you do eat 2 pounds of ground beef, you do feel a bit calmer. So right now I'm in a much calmer state. You don't want to run after this. You don't really want to be too active. It's not like a Thanksgiving meal, but it's also not a light meal. That's why you guys see any animal who hunts or something like that, after they hunt, what do? They lay down, because it's just like, wow, that's a lot of meat, and your body really has to work to digest the protein and the fats in that meal. But I like it a whole lot. When I first started, I felt very, I'd say, lethargic in the beginning, right? Like my days when I would go to the gym, I just feel a bit more weak, and I guess that's because I didn't have enough carbs in my system or whatever, or my body was transitioning. But now I feel really great. I feel mental clarity is at 100%. And as far as like what kind of quality of beef that I eat, I choose grass-fed. I want something that's grass-fed and grass-finished, so it's 100% all grass, no grains, and I think that that's how cattle should eat. We shouldn't be fattening them up with any type of corn and other type of grains. But again, you could do whatever you want to do. I'm just sharing my experience. And as far as like weight gain or anything like that, I haven't gained any weight, and neither have I lost weight. Like you just plateau. And I'm not using plateau in a negative sense. It's just like I'm staying at the same weight. And again, about 4 pounds, 3 pounds of ground beef is like over 4,000 calories that I'm eating on the daily, and over like 300 grams of protein, over 300 grams of fat, and I'm staying the same. And I guess my body is adapting pretty well to it. Am I going to be doing this forever? I don't think so. I don't think so. But as of right now, I like it. I enjoy it. And it's almost like I'm eating grass too. Remember, the cattle did eat grass, right? Grass-fed beef. So I feel that I am still getting vegetables in that sense, because the cattle is eating vegetables. And when you eat something, you've heard it a million times, you are what you eat. So if the animal that I'm eating is consuming nothing but grass, I can only imagine that I'm getting some of those vitamins and the nutrients from that as well. So that's it. This was just like a video that I just wanted to do, because every time I was eating my ground beef, I'm like, oh man, I just want to share this. I want to share my experience, and I'm not any type of person, you know what I mean? I don't subject myself to any type of diet or lifestyle, but I thought that this would be something interesting to try, and I've tried it and I really enjoy it. And as far as like using the bathroom, right? You're gonna be constipated. I was constipated for like the first week, and I'm talking about using the bathroom was hell. When I say hell, I mean imagine eating rocks and then having to use the bathroom. Like, that's how it felt. It was just like, I got to the point where I'm like, okay, this is enough. I'm just going to, you know, eat vegetables from now on. But I didn't do that. I stuck to it. And one thing that's really important is to make sure that you're drinking a whole lot of water and you are working out when you do this, if you plan on doing it. Don't just eat ground beef and then just, you know, sit around. And again, you don't have to eat 2 to 4 pounds every day. I lean more towards like 4 pounds daily, because I'll have 2 pounds after the gym, and then I'll wait maybe 2 hours, and then I'll have another 2 pounds, and then I'm fasting throughout the whole day, right? But I'm drinking a whole lot of water. That's something that I'm doing a whole lot of. So it's like either 2 hours before or 2 hours after is when I'm drinking my water. And don't drink water with your meals. I don't do it because it's gonna dilute digestion, but I drink a whole lot of water. I don't take any other supplements or anything else, and it's just working for me. I enjoy it. And yeah, as far as the constipation, after about a week, then you will start to go and you'll be fine. You know, I mean, I was fine after a week and everything was passing smoothly, and I don't release as much as I used to when I would eat carbs and vegetables and a lot of fiber, right? Because I just believe personally that my body is utilizing more of the meat, right? My body's digesting it, breaking it down, and feeding my cells, and just using everything that is being ingested. So there's not much waste. So that's something that's a plus. And yeah, it's maybe really expensive to do this long term, but that's it. That's just me. That's what I've been doing, and I'm gonna continue doing it. And if you have any questions at all, you can always reach me at Julian J Franco. So bye bye.